Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting Arkham Horror video. Today we have finished up another season on our Patreon, so it's time for a Patreon roundup. If you don't know what this is, every 2 months I offer shifting deck building and challenge modes to our patrons that you can play at. The lowest is the $3 tier, so I will say that this exists to also kind of plug the Patreon. If this interests you and you want to join in on a future seasons in our Patron Playalong League, we're actually in Season 4 right now. You can join our Patreon, check it out, and see all the other cool stuff that we have there, as well as also supporting the channel and allowing us to create more Arkham Horror content. But let's dive in. We're going to look at the challenge, we're going to look at some decks and some fun stats, just the usual stuff as we kind of get through here. So, the Patron Play-Along League Season 3 is the 2023 challenge. So this one was probably the hardest deck building challenge so far. It's one of those things where this is kind of like, for me, I've played so much Arkham that when I see something like this, I'm like, ooh, let's go. So, participating players built decks with the following rules for their deck building. Each deck must include exactly 3 player cards from each of the following cycles. Now, I could read them all out, or I could just say that is every cycle that has cards in it. Obviously, including the return twos in their cycle itself. But basically, there are 10 player card expansions, and you can only choose 3 cards from each of these expansions to put into your deck. This means that you're going to have a lot of 2s and a lot of 1-ofs. Or you could do 1, 1, and 1. Or you could grab like the myriad cards and have that just be your entire expansion for that one. This led to some very difficult deck building in the terms of upgrading. And a lot of, for me anyway, when I built my decks for this, I built 3 decks for this season challenge. My deck building started at, basically I had my entire deck built right at the get-go. I had all my level 0 cards, I had all my upgraded cards, and I was just ready to kind of go and play with them. This was very fun for me. This was fun for other people, but I also heard some people say that this one was too hard for them. So luckily, if this one's too hard for you, the Season 4 challenges, we're very much back to basics in terms of the deck building restrictions. So, a few other notes here. Only investigators with 30 card deck sizes can be played this season. Players cannot modify the size of their decks, and non-signature weakness permanent cards are banned. So basically you can't play with like versatile underworld support. Charisma would throw the math off. So it's just nice and simple. You have 30 cards. You're building. It's going to be a little bit janky, but it's going to also be a little bit fun. Each season also comes with an optional challenge mode. And this challenge mode, oopsie, wrong button, sorry. This challenge mode was pretty simple. It was called Wrath of the Ghoul Priest 1, because the Ghoul Priest might return in a future season. But I said each season provides an optional challenge to play while following the rules of the seasons. Limitations: you cannot play Knight of the Zealot when playing this challenge. And then the rules are, it looks like Lita Chandler is at it again. The Ghoul Priest is angry, and worst of all, it seems like he's not stopping anytime soon. When setting up each scenario, you're going to shuffle the Ghoul Priest into the encounter deck, and after defeating the Ghoul Priest, he is placed in the victor display as normal. So basically, there is a 10 health on 2-player enemy waiting to beat the crap out of you. And it's kind of funny, where in Knight of the Zealot, the Ghoul Priest is actually pretty manageable. Sorry, in The Gathering. I haven't played that scenario in a while, but that's the name of it, right? The first scenario. In The Gathering, the Ghoul Priest is pretty manageable because all the other enemies are quite simple. But as soon as you're facing enemies that aren't balanced around the fact that it's the tutorial mission, the Ghoul Priest becomes a lot harder of a challenge, which I thought was actually pretty fun for myself to even manage as we worked through the whole thing. But yeah, it really influenced me and how I was looking at when I did my challenge mode run. And as it usually goes with this, with the Play-Along League, a lot of people actually end up doing the challenge mode runs. So we've had a lot of fun stories that the Ghoul Priest have been like, man, this guy's actually kind of spooky scary. So yeah, I have some fun stats from this season. There were 19 different campaigns run this season, And of those 19 runs, 14 of them were the season challenge. So once again, the majority of the runs for this season were the challenge. So 14 of the 19 runs were ruined by the Ghoul Priest showing up and being like, hey, or 14 of the 19 runs were benefited by the Ghoul Priest showing up and given some extra victory points. The investigators played the most in this season were Silas Marsh and Rex Murphy, and they were each played in 3 of the 19 runs. There were a lot. There were actually 29 different investigators played this season. Once again, Trish proves to be played a lot. Actually, funnily enough, though, in this season, Trish was only played by me and Travis. So Trish, she continues to be played in every season. I'm gonna go through and look back to see which investigators were not played at all, but I'm not doing that in this video. The highest earned XP in a non-custom campaign was 60 experience with Daniela and Min, played by Butthead. This was in the Circle Undone while playing through the season challenge. So there's a lot of extra juicy Ghoul Priest experience to earn there. And of the 16 completed campaigns at the time of this recording, there were 13 wins and 3 losses. So a pretty good win rate for this season. Pretty good. Alright, let's keep this show going. And let's talk about some decks. So what I always do is I like to showcase some decks from myself if I'm playing, as well as from patrons. Notably, we have 2 runs of this going currently on the Patreon right now. We have the mid-tier, the $10 tier. You get a gameplay video every day of the week, but you also get access to all, every Sunday of the week. Did I say every day of the week? Oh my god. No, every Sunday of the week you get one. Notably, though, there are currently actually 86 videos of gameplay on the channel, so you can really dive in and go to our backlog if you do join at that tier. Just, once again, plug. Okay, so this was Circle Undone Challenge Mode, and I built a Trish Scarborough and a Rita Young deck again. I built Rita twice now for these challenges, and a big thing is just because when you have a limited deck, your deck's less consistent. Rita can kind of just solve problems with her ability. So she kind of has some pre-built enemy management where you actually don't need to rely on other cards. She still sometimes Rita's it up, but let's check out some decks. So here's the Trish deck. As I said, it's kind of like I kind of put everything in here in advance. Notably, this is only a few scenarios in. As I said, this one's still happening on the channel, but it will be finished eventually as the things go. But I still wanted to give some stuff here for my deck. So easy marks were a good way for me to solve the Dream Eaters, because Dream Eaters is kind of a weird expansion with not a lot of great cards in it. It's a little bit strange, but it happens to be just what I've noticed now in the 2 challenges that require Dream Eaters. Lockpicks and Lucky Cigarette Case, Lola Santiago. A lot of traditional stuff here for Trish. The thing about this challenge is that it allows you to build a good chunk of your deck. You get 20 cards in 2-ofs, and then you basically get 10 1-ofs. So that's where stuff like Death 13 is obviously really nice. A 1-of Pickpocketing, because you don't really need 2 of them to get a full advantage. A 1-of Eavesdrop that's been doing some work. It also allowed me to see some cards like the Vantage Point. This card was in my deck at the start, and I actually was able to take advantage of it, which was really cool. Something that I would not do if I wasn't doing this kind of challenge. So yeah, just a nice traditional deck for it looks very similar to a lot of Trish decks. It just kind of does. Over here in Rita, as you can see, it's kind of doing everything that Rita wants to do. A bunch of different weapons because we can't really be consistent. Obviously, we have the backpacks. And then we are planning on upgrading into the upgraded backpacks, but you need better weapons, and you can kind of just get a glut of them. Dirty Fighting. This was my Dirty Fighting baseball bat Rita deck, but I don't think I've actually used the baseball bat with it yet. I will eventually, I hope. But you see also that there's a few, the 1-ofs, Quick Getaway from Scarlet Keys, 1-of Live and Learn, Glimmer of Hopes again, just as another Dream Eater. See, once again, just get the myriads for Dream Eaters and just put them in your deck and just watch and see what happens. 1-of Scrapper. Yeah, I know. But trying things out, that's what this is all about. This is all about exploration and kind of seeing what's what. So those are my decks. Kind of a little bit like, you know, a little bit fine. Now let's get to like some patron decks, because I'm curious to see what they choose. So we're going to be looking at Butthead's decks first. So these are from the one that I said that got the most experience. This was Circle Undone with Challenge Mode with the Ghoul Priest, with Daniela Reyes and Minty Fan. Some notes: Witching Hour failed a run and remains test of 5 versus 3 by drawing the Elder Thing, which is a -3 and heals all damage from a witch if you fail on the final turn, while Annette had 4 damage on her. I ended up needing to change my route to victory, had the Hail Mary Investigate with Daniela at 3-all and drew the Elder Sign. And also got all 4 Heretics and Wages of Sin. I guess I also should have dropped a little thing here that there are spoilers for the campaigns here, but I'm going to wager, just from how I can tell how the views go in these kind of videos, that you're probably a franchise player if you're watching this video on the channel. So hi, welcome, I love you. All right, let's look at Butthead's decks. All right, so Daniela, Fire Extinguisher, Survival Knife, Mechanics Wrench, 2 baseball bats. So it looks like we have 5 weapons and an upgraded backpack to help find them, which is really nice. This also backpack is also going to find 2 more enchanted blades down here, and also a hallowed mirror. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits on the backpack, and then maybe some supplies. And Kievis, which is a really good hit on the backpack. I always forget that Kievis exists, so I was kind of like, yeah. I forgot it was here, but yeah, Kievis seems really good, and then with the backpack to find it, and obviously the experience comes from the Ghoul Priest as well, giving some additional experience to Butthead. Earthly Serenity is also really nice. Peter Sylvester, Black Cat. Lots of great stuff here. Dig Deep. This is the one that starts with the resources, get brain or foot. Very nice. The Enchanted Blade, I said. Burn After Reading, great card. 2 times Lucky 3s, very good. Emergency Aid to help, heal yourself or your ally assets, like your Black Cat, maybe? Will to Survive, always, we always call this the best card that we never play. Seems really good to kind of deal with the Ghoul Priest when he shows up, too. Yeah, definitely. Brute Force also seems really good with Will to Survive. Seems very good there. Unrelenting, great card draw, resourceful to grab back like a million great hits here. And then Vicious Blow, Fighting Lessons. I've actually been quite not blown away by Fighting Lessons, but Fighting Lessons, has actually really impressed me. All right, on to Min. Dream Diary, it looks like we have the Madman, so while you're engaged with an enemy, a nice panic button. 2 Scroll of Secrets 3, just a great card, obviously great in Min. Archive of Conduits, this is the Gateway to Paradise, so this is the one that heals damage or horror, which I actually really like, because of, Daniela, the Daniela pairing. Eon Chart, the level 4 version, to get, the really good juice from it. Dr. Milan, Madame Lebranche, Jerome, looks like somebody saved Jerome. Analytical Mind, and Upgraded Empirical Hypothesis. One thing that I actually saw on a lot of the discussion was that people love the customizable cards because they did not need to think about their upgrade path. But that's what these seasons do. They train you to deal with tough upgrade situations so you can plan ahead. So Trial and Error, dealt damage or horror. Enter location 3 or more. The field, there's no peer review, but there also is the refutable proof, discover a clue, and then you may do an additional one. Okay, Pathfinder 3, Cryptic Research 4, Deductions, Grizzled, Perceptions. Grizzled did Humanoid and Hex, Monster and Curse, all checks out. Yeah, for Circle Undone. And then another one of Unrelenting, a few other cards that are the low-level experience, Burning the Midnight Oil, Crack the Case for Economy, Practice Makes Perfect, hitting Deduction, hitting Perception, the upgraded version, Plan of Action, and Unrelenting. So a lot of nice hits there. A one of Live and Learn. Hey! Me and Butthead had the same idea. Now these decks seem really sweet, and I'm not surprised that they did great. Also got all 4 Heretics and the Wages of Sin. Super sick. Okay, Next one, we're going to go to Harrison F., the Innsmouth Conspiracy Challenge Mode with Silas Marsh and Norman Withers. Silas Marsh was played 3 times, once by me, and then 2 by other patrons, and one of them here I'm throwing here is from Harrison. So let's see what they had to say. Not many notes here, but the Ghoul Priest showed up in 6 of 8 scenarios, and Silas killed him 3 times and evaded the rest. That's a 50-50 kill rate. I'm going to say that's pretty good. Sorry, I got something stuck in my eye. There we go. I got it. Hopefully. Okay. So Silas, notably right off the bat, Pocket Multi-Tool and Grizzled are holding a lot of juicy XP. So we got Detachable, so other investigators may use it. Pry Bar for treacheries, an attack and evasion, obviously seems really nice. And then Spring Loaded, turning it into a lucky style of thing. Very cool there. Grizzled, Terror, Monster, Scheme. And then always prepared after you draw an encounter card with the chosen trait, return 1 from your discard pile to your hand. Obviously great value. Fire Extinguisher, 2 for the weapons along with the Sea Change Harpoon. Upgraded Backpack to find it. Upgraded Peter Sylvester because Peter Sylvester is just a fantastic card and obviously goes up in value with Silas due to Silas's low brain score. Horror soaking. Bandages, Track Shoes. Track Shoes also are really good. Silas 2, Catastrophe. Need I say more? Need I say more? 1 Live and Learn. Again, that's actually now 3 Survivor decks where it's been a 1 of Live and Learn. This is another thing that I really like while looking back at this challenge that you can look at and kind of just see where certain trends lie. I suppose the other thing about Live and Learn is that because it lives in both Forgotten Age and Stella, it's a great one of that has like 2 opportunities to show up in this deck. Lucky 3. Card's amazing. 2 Brute Force, Daring, Eureka, 2 Grizzled, as I said, 1 Guts, 2 Overpower, 1 Quicken, 2 Resourceful, 1 Signum Crucis, 2 Stunning Blow, 2 Unrelenting. So a lot of nice, big, traditional Silas stuff here. Daring and Eureka are great in Silas. Quick Thinking is great in Silas. Quick Thinking is especially good in Silas due to his Elder Sign effect. Resourceful, obviously, is... this is just nice. This is just nice Silas stuff. All right, Norman Withers. This one actually looked really cool. So this one is I'm gonna wager we have a patron game day coming up. Actually, it's happening like today in a few hours from the time that this video goes live, where we're starting. We're doing a epic multiplayer game day of the Machinations Through Time, and I'm pretty sure this is the deck, or similar to the idea of the deck that Harrison's going to be bringing, probably just without the dumb stipulations. But I do think that the Summon Servitor flying with Astronomical Atlas Norman is probably what's going to happen here. So, we have no Armored Carapace, which is good, because I'm pretty sure Armored Carapace is actually a trap for this card. Jaws That Snatch, Evade at 4, which works actually really nicely with the Pocket Multi-Tool on Silas's side. Eyes of Flame, investigate location of base of 4, very nice. Wings, when it moves, you may move. It no longer takes up the ally slot, and you can take 2 different actions instead of 1 during each of your turns. Really nice. I've actually not played with Summon Servitor yet, but I'm excited to give it a shot. Astronomical Atlas with Norman is obviously great. Other Hand is here to hold the Livret de Ibon, so that'll be really good. 2 full upgraded divinations, level 4. Obviously a great card, really good in Norman because it allows you to use both your brain and your book depending on the skill that you want to use, versus like deduction versus... No. This is here mostly just for the book. But you can use it also for like cards that only commit for a brain that you get a value at as well, which is really nice. Diana Esperance, spells. So let's look at the spells. We have Deny Existence 5. Obviously playing that a bunch of times is really good. And Ward of Protections. I don't see any other spells here. Looking at some other stuff, we have the Recall the Future, a really nice asset that is, I don't play just because it's annoying, but it's very powerful. It's a very good card. Astounding Revelation, Burning the Midnight Oil, Deep Knowledge. So these are all just like economy. Shortcut allows you to move. Stargazing, hell yeah, let's go. Represent Stargazing. My favorite card that I play more than I should. I love it, but it's also just like not great. But it's also not bad. It's a fun card though. I love the hell out of Stargazing. One ward of 0, one ward 2, and then go to the skills, Deduction, Enraptured, Eureka, Ghastly Possession, which is very good with Divination, Inquiring Mind, so yeah, Ghastly Possession, Inquiring Mind, Promise of Power. Yeah, this all seems pretty good. Looks like a Mr. Rook and 2 Astounding Revelations were dropped to add the Stargazing and Diana near the last little bit. Cool. All right. We have one more patron to check out, but we actually get 4 decks for the price of 1. So, this is Arkham Librarian, who plays a lot in the challenges, in the Patron Play-Along League, and I love seeing the decks and stories that Arkham Librarian brings, and I'm excited to feature an Arkham Librarian decks, 4 of them here. So this is Dream Eaters. Was it challenge mode? I might have messed that up. 1 second. Let me just see. I could be wrong. Just gonna figure this out. Open up the log. I might have just misedited that, but I just want to represent it properly. So let me just look. 13. It was a challenge mode. Okay, so good. I did not screw up. I didn't. Oh, right. Now I remember why I included it. Yes. Okay. No. We're good. All right. So let's see some notes here from Arkham Librarian. Parallel Agnes front and original Agnes back to meet the deck building requirements. A side is Agnes and Preston, and B side is Finn and Joey. One of the reasons I wanted to showcase this was because this Agnes deck has the parallel front and the original back, something we don't do or even talk about on the channel, so it's cool to focus that here. And then also, it was running out of time and point no return, so it was very nice to just slide the Ghoul Priest under Richard Upton Pickman when he showed up. This was another reason why I really wanted to include this, because the fun thing about these challenges, and actually like the challenge mode we currently have for Season 4, the players have already figured out cool ways to game the challenge, and it's one of my favorite things to see where these either unexpected or like these either planned or not planned things show up, because I can imagine Arkham Librarian, the Ghoul Priest is drawn, and it's like, wait a minute, it's a ghoul. This motherfucker can join the Ghoul Gang, and I thought that was really cool, and I wanted to showcase that here. But we have 4 decks, so let's just quickly go through them. So this is the Agnes Baker, parallel front side, but core back side. So Survivor 02, Mystic 05. All right, Fire Axe, Meat Cleaver, Ritual Candle, Scroll of Prophecies, Sword Cane. So a lot of hand slots here. 3 of them, well, 5 of them actually deal with enemies, and then 1. That's cool. That's interesting. So this is obviously, you can see by the Brand of Cthulhu level 4 and the Shriveling. This is more of a fighting sort of Agnes. We also have Power Word to also deal with enemies. So let's just quickly look at Power Word. Betray deals damage. Greater control, you can return it to your hand. I like this. It's like a way to deal damage, and then like you can pull it back when you're here to kill the enemy. Notably, this is great because the front side of this Agnes, Parallel Agnes, you're able to reduce the cost of this card, which is really cool. Tongue Twister, you may give up to 2 different commands. Cool. Very cool. Living Ink, we have the upgraded version up to level, it's level 4, there's 8 experience in it. So, Brain and Fist makes total sense. Subtle Depiction, you may not remove. It enters play with 2 additional charges and takes up an Arcane slot. And after you reveal a Chaos Token with a symbol, you can exhaust it to place a charge on it. So, this is actually really cool because I saw Travis was playing an Amina deck, and Travis was playing the Living Ink, and Travis was using it as basically just a Mythos phase protection, which is cool. And I like that there's this versatility that Living Ink provides, and using it during the using it actively or passively as like defensively, I think is really cool. 1 of Arcane Initiate to find the spells, and our spells are, of course, Dark Memory. Dark Prophecy is not a spell, but Delves Too Deep is not a spell. Deny Existence, Power Word's a spell, Spectral Razor, Storm of Spirits, Voice of Ra, and then, of course, Brand of Cthulhu and Shriveling. And also a Talisman of Protection here, which I think is also really nice. Filling that, once again, that 1 of slot that we're seeing a lot here. Enraptured is another one of those, which, I mean, obviously works well with Brand of Cthulhu, Shriveling, and even Living Ink. Yeah, the spell stuff over here seems pretty simple. Attempt Fate I like as a 1 of. Just throw some curses in there. I'm curious to see if the Preston paired with might be a Blessed Preston. We can find that out. It's kind of hard, though, because you only get 3 cards from it, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. Or even if it's here as just a 1 of. I like it as just like the 1 of from the Innsmouth Conspiracy. Cool. Preston. I mean, it has Eye of Djinn, which you really don't need to do a lot of to get the value of, because it just turns one of your tests into a 5. But if you do happen to reveal a Bless token or Curse token, which Tempt Fate puts in there, you get value out of it. So I'm curious, is there a Tempt Fate over here? There is not. There is not. Okay. 2 flashlights. Obviously, Preston is here to get clues. 1 Mariner's Compass, 2 newspaper, 2 old key rings, 1 pocket multi-tool, and we have the magnifying lens and the pry bar. Cool, helps during the Mythos phase, but also is here to get more book. Cherished Keepsake, Lucky Dice. Ooh, okay. When you reveal a non-auto-fail spent 2 resources. I mean, that does seem better in Preston, right? Like, Preston has the money to spend on this, so I actually kind of like that. I kind of like that with Preston. Leo DeLuca to get more actions. Stealth and well-connected to be big money. Eavesdrop. Played this one in the Trish deck from earlier. I like it. I like it. Intel Report. Jury Rig. I mean, obviously seems nice with Mariner's Compass, but I even like it with the a lot of what Agnes was holding. Money Talks, Calculated Risk. I mean, good protection for like things like if a Frozen in Fear shows up. Justify the Means, yeah. Seems good. Automatically succeed a test. Take Heart, and then 3 aces. I like this Preston deck. Seems like a great time. All right, let's go to the B side for this, which is Finn and Zoe. So Finn, I recently built a wild and crazy Finn deck that I'm going to be releasing the deck list for on the Patreon in the near future. It was a pure combat Finn, and it was actually very fun. It was very fun. All right, so 2 lockpicks, pocket telescope, switchblade, so we can fight with this Finn as well, kind of flexing a little bit. Crystallizer of Dreams, Pete Sylvester, the Moon to get more foot, Moxie to get foot and brain, which I think is really nice. Pickpocketing to get value out of Finn's actionless action. Stealth, also really nice. I like this card a lot in Finn, obviously. And it allows Finn to kind of just like, you know, I mean, it makes his problems potentially other people's problems, but it's also just like a good card, I think, for Finn. And I should try it out again in him, I think. Skeleton Key, great card. There was actually some discussion in our Discord this morning about how it's a shame that you can't reduce the Shroud value of this card, but honestly, that was like the best future-proofing they ever could have done. That if this card also reduced the Shroud, like if you were still able to reduce the Shroud further, oh my god, this its value would have gone up so much. This card's already good. It allows your goon to investigate at 3-1 and probably get clues in standard. Great card. Love it as well also with Zoe, because Zoe then could potentially pass some stuff as well. Breaking and entering, 3 easy marks. Once again, just making the Dream Eater side easy. Faustian Bargain. Honed Instinct. Let's see the upgrades on this one. Enemy engages you. Treachery enters your threat area. You get +2 skills to each of your skills when you do that. I really like that. I like it. I like the choices there. Scout ahead. Slip away to get more better evade. Swift reflexes. Under surveillance. That's really cool. That's really cool. I'm down for this. I've only played this card a few times in Gloria, and I want to try it more. Because I believe like a lot of this card reads good. It's just like is so hard to make work. But I love seeing it in decks, and I want to try it more myself. As you can see, that also Arkham Librarian planned everything ahead. And then skills, we got Deduction, Hatchet Man, love it, and Nimble. I should really be playing that in my Finn deck. Maybe I'll make some changes before I upload the deck list, and then Nimble. All right, on the Zoe side, we got 32 Colt, Survival Knife, 35 Winchester. Interesting. Oh, and 2 fucking lightning guns. Let's go. That is so sick. Great card that I've like never played. It's just so exciting. It's such a Timmy card. It's really fun. Upgraded Hallowed Mirror. Obviously, you love the hell out of Hallowed Mirror. The upgraded version is even nicer. Backpack to find, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 cards? Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice hit there. Because like even though this is not the upgraded version, it's still gonna find something that you want. Bandolier, so you can hold like the lightning gun and a survival knife, so you don't need to you don't need to spend a lightning gun ammo on a 3 attack enemy. But I suppose that's also the benefit of Finn being able to fight enemies as well, is that the lightning gun can then be saved if you don't have the bandolier and the survival knife or the 32 Colt, which is kind of sick. It's also the upgraded one, so you could also hold the Winchester. Yeah, no, that's nice. Upgraded B-Cop, upgraded Safeguard, Schaffners, as I said. Clean them out, Counterpunch to get money and, more ways to deal with enemies that you don't need to spend your lightning gun ammo on if they're a bit smaller. And then custom modifications, which is notched sight. So if you perform an attack with the attached asset against an enemy, engage another investigator and fail, you deal no damage. This is a good way to tell Finn that do not worry, the lightning gun will not hit you. And then +2 while using the attached asset. Very nice. 2 Deny Existence, a Faustian Bargain. 2 Hand of Fate. I like it. I'm down for it. Just some dodging. An On the Hunt, which is obviously very good in Zoe. A 1 in the Chamber, which is nice with, obviously incredibly nice with the lightning gun. And then, after my own heart, 2 copies of Sweeping Kick, and then 2 Overpowers. Wild! How fun! How fun. I love the decks that the patrons built for this one. They seemed like very fun times. And the nice thing about being forced into each, using so much from each expansion is that you will play cards that you would not otherwise play with, which I think is really the best part of Arkham, which is exploring the collection in ways that you might otherwise not. So, that's it. I share the season challenges once they're done, so players can experience this without actually becoming a patron. But if you do want to support the channel and join for our current patron leagues, you can do so down in the description. Also, like and subscribe and all that. And a huge thank you to all of our patrons for your support through all this, because it means the world to me. And I'm looking forward to doing this again in 2 months once we finish season 4. Which might involve a certain guy who always gets sacrificed in Dunwich. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.